Good morning. It's Tuesday, April 8th. Spring is on its way, even though we're supposed to get a little snow today. 10 a.m. here on Cindy Krupp's most glorious web channel website, I Am an Open Door. This is Training Wheels. We're going to take some of my writing from my book Training Wheels, in which I just go through the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles, and we are on lesson 28 today. So what I will do is read the lesson, and then if people are up for it, I'd like to take us through a little bit of a meditation. Um, just, just, I don't know whether Michelle, whether you can do that or not, because you're driving in the car, but you can just go along with it if you can. Um, just to take us into a place where we can actually experience the lesson a little bit, because experiencing is always the key to knowing. So I am going to turn my video off so that I can really just be free to do what needs to be done. And then you will just hear my voice, and I will go through the first 27 lessons, and then I'll read today's lesson, and then we'll go from there. Today's lesson is, above all else, I want to see things differently. So take your seat and just relax wherever you are. Everything is perfect as it is. Just go along for this ride. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try. There's no effort here. Just simply be in whatever way shows itself. There is a lesson in A Course that I'd really like to ask you to keep in mind as we do this, we go through this, and it's to receive all, give all. The lesson is to have all, give all. I'm sort of changing it a little bit to receive all, give all. And you'll see how that applies as we go through our meditation. You will see how it applies as we go through the meditation. As we apply the lesson, above all else, I want to see. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind, my thoughts are preoccupied with the past. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. Today's lesson is a more specific application than the one practiced before. You are asked to apply the words today to objects in your view. Today, you are making a series of definite commitments in this lesson, but whether you keep the commitment is not of primary concern now. If you're willing to make the commitment for today, you are on the path. All journeys begin with one step, and you are at the beginning. Why does it matter how you see a table, a chair, or a rug? In itself, it's not important. The point is, you see lots of separate things, which means you are not using inner vision. There's a light, literally and figuratively, in everything around you. It's the same light that is in all things, in this world, and indeed in the entire universe. You can feel it in your body. Most of us cannot see it yet, but feeling it is just fine. Here's the point. When I say, above all else, I want to see things differently, I am making a commitment to withdraw my preconceived ideas about the world. I am making a commitment to withdraw my preconceived ideas about what I see. I am opening my mind to the possibility of a deeper reality. I am decoupling my vision from the physical, from the material, as the sole arbiter of reality. And I am not using the past to define the present. I am allowing the thing to present itself to me now, rather than telling it what it is based on my past experience or any future expectation. Seeing a table differently is not an exclusive commitment. My willingness to see a table differently applies to all other things I see, as all things are joined. The table seen in its oneness literally shows me the purpose of the universe, which is shared in joy as the creation of all things. Nothing is excluded from this joy, not the table, not the rug, not the planet, not a pencil, and not a person. So as you practice today, play with what you see. Be committed, but do not force anything. Allow what you look upon to reveal its purpose to you. Even if it's just for a moment, lift your judgment. Pretend you've never seen that table, that chair, that plant, and notice what comes to mind. What do you see or feel in the table, in the chair, or the plant that you haven't noticed before? Above all else, I want to see differently. Above all else. So how do we see differently? Most of us have practiced with this lesson, but this lesson still keeps our attention focused on what is outside. And while it's true that what is outside is a projection from inside, we are moving beyond experiencing the world as its projection. We are moving into experiencing the world from the point of view of the inner witness. So when we seek to see things differently, we don't look outside, we have to go inside. Deepak Chopra says, "This is a lucid dream in a vivid now." This is a lucid dream in a vivid now. A near-death experiencer called it the lustrous vast. She said, "Earth is a lucidity gym. We build our lucidity muscles here." Being lucid means being present now, as the witness, as the lucid dreamer. All awareness is now, and now is not in space-time. Now is not in space-time. Don't confuse it with time. It's not a moment in time. Now is outside space-time. It is non-local consciousness. So let's take a few minutes and sink into presence. I want to invite you to just place your awareness on your breathing, if you haven't already done so. And there's no effort in this. Just breathe naturally. And now follow your breath out to its end. So breathe in, and on the out breath, just ride the wave of the out breath all the way to its end. It may be a short wave, it may be a long wave, it doesn't matter. You may notice that as you practice riding the wave, the breath becomes a little bit longer. It does this all by itself. And now go a little deeper and ride the wave out and just drop off the edge. And we drop off by just holding a little bit at the end. Just hold the breath at the edge. And just drop off. And then let the breath naturally come in again. Breathing in, riding the wave of breath to the edge, holding it and dropping off, and then inhaling. Nothing forced. You can't do this wrong. And now we're going to receive all and give all to all. So place your awareness on whatever comes up. Breathe it in the in-breath and just ride whatever it is, a thought, an emotion, a feeling, a sensation, a memory. Just let it ride on the out-breath and drop it off into the vastness at the edge. Be the space in which the thought, the feeling, the sensation arises. Let the breath breathe it out and give it back to the same place it arose from. You are the conscious awareness of something arising within the space of your own awareness. You're letting it move through you on the breath and dropping it off. This is the meaning, or one meaning, of the lesson: to have all, give all to all. Allow yourself to have what comes up and then give all of it to all that is. Above all else, I want to see things differently. Above all else. This place, this silent place, is where all things arise. We see them arise. They move through us, through our awareness. They arise in awareness, and we let them go. In the now moment, I can only see things in the now. Now is outside of space-time. It is not local. All arises now, and I drop it off the edge now. I let it move through and pass it along. This place, this space, is the lucidity gym. It is the quiet space in which we see how the mind works. And it's from this place that we move outward into the world, the so-called world. Consciousness is infinite and irreducible. It is incomprehensible and inconceivable. But without consciousness, there is no comprehension. There's no conceiving and there's no perceiving. So in this space, we have the experience of consciousness conceiving and perceiving within itself. This is the beginning of the end of ignorance. This is the beginning of the end of false perception. Take a few deep breaths and come on back, and we can talk about your experience and this lesson. Thank you for joining me. So above all else, I want to see things differently. In order to see things differently, it seems to me that we have to know where the seeing originates. We are dreaming this world into form, but we are the dreamer. We've never left home, as A Course in Miracles says, but we are self-identifying as our own projection. We've gotten lost in what we think we see. And in order to see the universe, we have to see the universe inside. We have to become at home and comfortable with our own inner realm. And sometimes what comes up from the universe is jarring. As Cindy says, it gives us a contraction. It's not good and it's not bad. But we can only notice that, and we can only deal with it right now, which is in non-local space. So when we are present in the moment, and as we practice this lesson today, if you want to, looking outside, looking around, seeing things differently, and saying to yourself the lesson, above all else, I want to see things differently. Know that you are in time as long as you believe in that projection. But when you take the moment and you say those words from the depth of your heart, you are in non-local space. You're not in space. And that opens everything up for us to see things differently. The guides tell us, and Cindy knows this, and some of you aren't familiar with the guides, but A Course says the same thing. We can't rely on the past in order to see things anew. And this is such elementary mind training, but it's so critical because we undo the dream the same way we made it. So the carpet doesn't just suddenly roll up. It rolls up from the end where it laid out. And this is the step on the path toward rolling the carpet up. Staying in the now over and over and over again, being conscious of what is arising in the moment over and over. Above all else, I want to see things differently. That is synonymous with saying, above all else, I want to be present in the moment when I see. Thank you. Alka. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. I just wanted to say that as soon as you said that now is out of time and space, it brought me to a very different perspective and a very different place. It was all of a sudden I was somewhere else, and it changed everything, how I was looking at the meditation, the lessons. It just changed everything. Just, yes. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. That's a really good point because the mind wants to control now. It really wants to control it. And so it says, oh, it's just a gap in time. Now is just a gap in time. But it still places the now in time, doesn't it? And it's not. No. Deepak Chopra says that the now moment is the event horizon. For those who aren't familiar with physics, the event horizon is the edge of a black hole. It's before everything gets sucked into the black hole. And it's a very good visual for what happens to the ego when it gets sucked into oneness. It gets drawn right into oneness. And the egoic mind does not want that to happen. So it wants to place now in time where it can understand it, where it still has control. It gets right to the edge and then it just hangs in there. Thank you, Alka. It's a great observation. David.
So many things come to mind after this, because of what you told us, Amy. But anyway, what one of the things is that our thoughts affect what we see. I think our thoughts, which to me are a product of our hanging on to our past, and I think that generates what thoughts we think, because they have that's and and I think the past also helps us, to create, or not create, to make filters. And we use these filters based on, the fears and the judgments and that we hang on to from the past. And so then what we allow ourselves to see is, because we don't want, or I don't want, I'm afraid to see what actually is, because I've become so, I guess, reliant on the past, to be, that's to, and I hold on to that. That's who I am. That's what I created. That's me. And, and so I don't want to see anything that contradicts that or scare or, says, no, that's all, you're full of beans, David. Here's what really is. And so, if I, to be able to see the now, to see what is right now, to see the now as it is, I have to let go of these filters. And to let go of these filters, I have to let go of the past. Or at least, I need to know where my car is, where my keys are, and but I don't need to bring those fears and those worries and those, I'm not good enough with me. And because if I do, I can't see what is. And to me, that's what I'm learning today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. David, how was the meditation for you? Were you able to ride the out breath and drop things off on the edge?
Yeah, what I understood is I often have a lot of trouble taking deep breaths, even though I belly breathe, because I learned that in yoga. But today I was like, oh, I'm relaxing. My diaphragm, it can go way, way down today because it's not tense. And so I said, wow, I mean, I'm taking in twice as much air as I normally could because I'm relaxed and I'm not, I've let go of all that, that flight or fright syndrome that I'm always in, or it seems to be always in. And the only way I can get out of that usually is to distract myself with, it used to be drinking and now overeating or watching movies, or I have to distract myself from that fallback position of mine, which is tenseness and anxiety. But doing that exercise with the breathing, I could relax in the now and not bring those filters from the past with me. And so I didn't have that tenseness that I usually have.
Were you able to watch the thoughts come up or the sensations or feelings and take them on the out breath and just drop them off?
Well, I wasn't having any, I was only thinking about the breath.
Okay.
I didn't have, there was nothing coming in other than I'm doing this breath thing and this is really good and it's working for me. So there were no thoughts coming in at the time, which was very nice, very peaceful. It's like, oh my God, this is so good.
Oh,
Now that I think about it, I wasn't even thinking about thoughts because that's a thought. But so I was just breathing.
gotcha. Gotcha. It's a really great relaxation method. Yeah, I love it. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.
Barbie, how did it go for you today? Because I know last time we did this, you were having some challenges as well. Was it a little better for you?
It was, I mean, I had no thoughts or anything, and I think I even went deeper than the last time. I mean, I was out there, but where? You know, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What came to me when I first did this was the realization that thoughts just arise in awareness, and that sometimes the thoughts that came up or come up are they're charged. They have a different, kind of electricity or vibration or feeling, and that I could kind of hold those in awareness, touching them without going down the rabbit hole, and on the out breath, just giving them back to the luminous vastness out of which they arose. And then it's like this big cycle. And then it realizing it's God, consciousness, that's bringing these images or thoughts or whatever up. And all I have to do is allow them and move them through and drop them off. And that space, that exercise, and practicing that when you can, when it's quiet is a really good model for how to be when things get chaotic, which is why it's good to do it when you can, when it's quiet and you can notice what's coming up, letting it move through you, and then using the breath as your own personal portable centering device to just move it out and drop it off. And you can do that anytime, anywhere. And then taking it deeper, what is it that's noticing? It's consciousness. And that's the closest we can get to what we are in truth. Just that empty, open space of awareness, right? Is there any ego there? It's pretty quiet, isn't it? You know? Is there any fear or discomfort? No. It is a space that can move fear and move discomfort without ever actually being affected by it. It just moves it through and just gently with the breath pushes it out off the edge. It doesn't matter what happens to it. The universe takes care of it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. Just be the open space for something else to arise, whatever it is. This is how we move past experiences. This is how we rise to a higher vibration. Because as we do this, as we practice, deeper and deeper unconscious material will come up to be seen differently. Sometimes it may be very scary because that event horizon is really scary for the ego. It doesn't know what's out there. And it can't know. It's not supposed to know. But as the awareness, we can bring up these experiences and move them out. Right? Forgiving them, if that's what we need to do, letting them go. Above all else, I want to see things differently. We don't see things differently by looking at the tree differently. We see things differently by being the conscious awareness in which all arises and moves through. I'm now prompted to ask Livy how she's doing because she's just gotten back. I don't want to put you on the spot in any way, my friend. I just want to check in and see how you are.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Yeah, my grieving didn't start until I got back because I, really had to be present with her. And so I was able, still, but I'm doing well. I carried all y'all with me, into everything. And I just am so incredibly grateful I was sober and able to be there with her. And her mother and dad weren't able to be there. And so it was a real gift to be able to be there. And I listened to the playbacks. If y'all don't listen to playbacks, they're freaking awesome. So y'all were with me so much of the time. And it was so helpful to have those playbacks. And I really needed this lesson today. To be able to see things differently. I did leave with some concerns, and I so needed this reminder, and the meditation was so helpful. So thanks so much, Amy. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all y'all and love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I have gotten to the point, Livy, where in my meditations at night, I bring all of you with me. So everyone is with me and we're all going together. We're all doing it together. And last night I did a meditation on, I just reached out to everyone that was not happy, suffering, and I brought all of you with me to reach out because I realized that if I felt like if I just reached out by myself, it didn't feel as powerful. I needed to have all of y'all with me in order to extend the blessing. And it's just, this is it in action. This is what it's all about. Thank you, Livy. So we don't have to go another exponential expansion. Thank you, Alka. If everybody is zoned out and that meditation just put us in la la land, that's just fine. No worries. Just practice today, if you can, seeing things differently. And if you don't already do some kind of form of that meditation, I invite you to play with it. All y'all is so, all that is. Cindy,
Shall I stop the recording?
if we are, unless someone else has something to contribute, Livy?
You know, one thing that came up for me actually was my body seems to have its own thought process.
Yes.
And it's accustomed to reacting to something before the thought has gotten there. And I'm grateful today that I can recognize the thought associated with the sensation in the body and reminding the body that we can see things differently. And a lot of that is the contraction in the solar plexus of we need to control, we need to, do whatever to stay in control. And it's like a defense mechanism. And so it's a real interesting and lovely process to be able to remind the body we can see things differently. It's okay to let go. We're not in control. It's okay to let go of the control. Everything is exactly as it is. And, I, the small self, because I created this ego as a survival mechanism at a very young age. And so it's like, well, you've always needed me. Here I am. Defense is up, So I'm grateful today that's why these lessons mean so much, because it is a retraining of my body. And so, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in because it's really, and there is gratitude, lots of gratitude when my body relaxes and it's kind of like, oh, okay, we can breathe now. It's okay. Let's just pause and feel my feet beneath me and watch that out breath go out all the way. And so it's just an interesting process of retraining it, well, allowing the untraining of the body, just to allow it just to be, and
Yes.
to recognize it's a part of a whole, and it's being guided, and there's nothing that the small self needs to do.
That is so right. That is so right. And the body may shake, it may have vibrations, it may feel like it's on fire, it may feel really uncomfortable, and it may take a few out breaths in order to move it through. But the point is to move it through. And you may have to move it through dozens of times. But as you're willing to stand there at the event horizon and let it go into that, you don't even know where, it arises from somewhere and it goes out, and you are just the conscious awareness, the empty space in which it moves through. And the more time we spend having that experience, and then it moves through, and then awareness says, I'm still here, right? I'm still here. Happy to have done that. Thank you. Thank you. Great observation, Livy. Sandra, I thought we were all done.
It just needed time to sink in, Amy. I would highlight, first of all, I'm going to thank you again for this book. Thank you. And my friends who I've shared it with, thank you. So, I think I would like to highlight the line that says, I am allowing the thing to present itself to me now. Well, first you said, I'm decoupling my vision from the physical, and I'll add the past, and I am not using the past, but I am allowing the thing to present itself to me now, rather than telling it what it is based on my past experience or future expectation. And when you read that, the guides came back with all things are made new, all things are made new, saying that over and over again. And I think when I first went through the course, I did practice that a lot with things, with what, trees, nature, the chair. But where it really had its most deep impact, and does now for me, is with the human beings in my life.
Say that again.
It's the people, the humans. And when I'm coming from, as you said, the point of view of consciousness, or the point of view of the true self, which is embodied right now. And for example, my daughter, I'm having lunch with my daughter, but I don't look at her as my daughter. I'm not the mother, she's not the daughter. She just is this beautiful being. That is amazing. You see things, you encounter another being very differently. Very different. So there's a freshness. I just love that word. And I'm going to use Rana's word. It's delicious. It's, wow, this person, this incarnated, light-filled person really is amazing when you do it with the person you live with, because boy, have we put them in boxes. All kinds of, so it's like a qualitatively different experience than just doing it with things. So I want to add to your paragraph down there, not the rug, not the table, not the plant, not your husband.
That's very true.
Do you know?
I do.
I don't know if anybody else has this, but it's when I realized, so boy, I'll tell you the big one was when I realized that I am not the mother. Your children are not your children. They are life's longing for itself. Khalil Gibran. I mean, when I realized my children are not my children, wow, I was able to have this whole new experience with them. And it's really delightful, even when it's hard,
Yep.
even when it seems hard. I'll add that to that. So I love this lesson. You said, be present in the moment. I want to see things differently. And I think you already said so very eloquently, where is that seeing coming from? And if helps me to drop the roles, the roles, not just the past, but the roles, ROLES. I am not a role. And yeah, it's very freeing.
Very freeing.
All
It
the
takes
expectations
space.
that I had of myself, not just of them, but of myself,
Yeah.
being the good mother. So thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for that. Patricia, you had your hand up.
I did, and then I put it down because after Sandra speaks, I feel, Sandra, that what I would have to say would not be as eloquent as what you say. You just speak with such eloquence, and I appreciate that so much. But I will continue because comparison is stupid.
Yeah, Sandra just speaks from her heart, and if you speak from your heart, it's the same darn place.
Thank you. Thank you. And I learned something from Rupert that has really helped me, Rupert Spira, which is the feelings come up, bring them close, look at them and go, thank you, and let them go. So bringing them close and watch them dissolve. And I like that word dissolve because it's freeing. It frees me up. It's just dissolving. I can't grasp it. I can't touch it. And if I can't touch it, it's not real. And if it's not real, then it's no thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if it's no thing, might as well just take a breath and be in the moment. Why not?
Being in the moment it's funny how being in the moment means you're outside time, right?
Yes.
Being in the moment is outside time.
Thank you for that.
And it is liberating to free yourself of the roles and even the roles for yourself, because we're all just beings incarnating here, having our experience, right? And in a way, wow, look at this. I got to incarnate with this person that I call my daughter, right? She could have been she could in another, parallel dimension be my mother or my husband, I get to see her in this role. That is way cool. Right? All right. So,
Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I
Oh.
did. Thank you, Amy. That was helpful. And Sandra, I'm going to look at my daughter in a different way. She's not my daughter. She's not my child. She is this beautiful being in her own self. So thank you.
All right. Let's see. David wanted.
I got it. I'm gonna
Okay.
stop the recording
Okay.
and then
I want to say this is about putting people in boxes with us in the box, or at least that's my thought about that when Sandra was being so eloquent about describing that. So this popped into my brain.
one of my favorite videos / songs. So it's not hard to say yes to. For the recording, because I'm turning the recording off, it's a song called New Soul, and it is in the Open Door YouTube song playlist, so you could find it there. This was wonderful. And for anyone who has forgotten, we are meeting again in an hour. And I heard from Rana in that coffee cup that Cindy gets to facilitate or lead the 12-stepping meeting today. I opened Courage to Change at random, so it's going to be an interesting conversation about choices. All right, here we go.